She once believed that God had forgotten her. Every day she prayed alone in her small cold room, yet no miracle ever came. But what she didn't know was that, all along, God had been helping her through her own kindness and gentle heart. The quiet, rain-drenched town of Clearwater awoke under a shroud of gray. Time moved slowly here, centered around the Cornerstone Diner, a relic on Main Street, where the rich scent of coffee and sizzling butter was the only morning comfort. Mia, the young server, moved with exhaustion masked by grace. Her uniform was frayed, her shoes old. Her life was defined by scarcity. Her mother's spiraling medical bills were a constant crushing weight. Every night, Mia knelt and prayed for a miracle. But the heavens seemed silent. No direct intervention arrived. Despite the burden, she maintained an extraordinary heart, choosing to reflect the kindness she hoped to receive. She was unaware that God was already subtly weaving connections in the simple fabric of her daily actions. The diner's rhythm was anchored by Mr. Harris, who arrived promptly at 8:10 a.m. A man in a drab gray coat and brown fedora, he always claimed the same booth by the window. His order was immutable: black coffee, well-done toast, scrambled eggs. His eyes were distant, reflecting a history of sorrow and profound loneliness. Mia immediately saw the solitude most others ignored. She went beyond service, sneaking him complimentary lemon cake or warming his toast extra on cold days. "Mr. Harris, good morning," she'd greet him, setting down his coffee. "A little extra warmth for the drizzle, sir." "That would be most kind of you, Mia," he'd reply, offering a faint, grateful smile. Their small, warm ritual became a sanctuary of human connection against the backdrop of their lonely lives. In brief exchanges, Mia learned Mr. Harris was a retired history teacher who had lost his beloved wife, Eleanor. His successful, scattered children rarely called. Mr. Harris, in turn, noticed the sorrow beneath Mia's cheerful facade. "You work too hard, child," he remarked one afternoon. "You remind me of a girl who carries the world on her shoulders." Mia confided in him about her mother's illness and the relentless bills. "It feels overwhelming," she admitted. Yet she found strength in her mother's guiding words. "The true measure of a soul is not how much joy it can contain, but how much sorrow it can endure." Mia worked double shifts, skipped meals, and prayed for strength. But her most genuine smile was always reserved for Mr. Harris. Helping him brought a unique meaning to her struggle. Then came the bitter winter morning, when Mr. Harris didn't arrive at 8:10. The empty booth was a jarring void. After 3 agonizing days, her fear drove her to call the hospital. Arthur Harris, admitted after a fall, stable but frail. Ignoring the manager's complaints, Mia took the bus to the county hospital. He was stunned to see her. His children had been notified, but had not yet visited. "I missed my 8:10 appointment," she explained, placing a fresh blueberry muffin beside him. "You have regulars, sir. We worry." "True wealth is measured in people who show up, not those who call," he told her with painful sincerity. For the next week, Mia visited daily after her shift. She brought coffee, small flowers, and light-hearted stories. Her prayers shifted entirely. She stopped asking God for money for herself and asked only for peace and strength for the lonely old man. The nurses began whispering about the diner angel. Her selfless compassion was healing him more profoundly than the medication. A week later, Mr. Harris reappeared at the cornerstone. He was slower, relying on a cane, but his eyes held a quiet resilience. Mia rushed to seat him, preserving the perfection of their routine. As he gathered his coat to leave, he stopped and looked back at her. "Mia," he called, his voice firm. He rested his hand briefly on her arm. "Do you know what my greatest comfort was in that sterile room?" he asked. "It was knowing you would come. You always came." He looked straight into her eyes. "You remind me so much of my daughter. Thank you for everything." Mia took the comment as a deep compliment, unaware that this beautiful, simple goodbye was his spiritual testament. Months passed, marked by Mr. Harris's steady 8:10 arrival. But one crisp Tuesday morning, the glass door didn't bring him, but a jarring, suspenseful sight. 4 men in tailored black suits, followed by 2 stern lawyers with leather briefcases. The diner fell silent. "Is there a Mia Peterson here?" the lead lawyer, Mr. Thompson, demanded, his voice echoing. Mia's heart hammered. She nodded. "We are representatives of the late Mr. Arthur Harris," Mr. Thompson stated. "He passed away peacefully last week." Tears instantly blurred Mia's vision. The lawyer placed a thick, sealed envelope on the counter. Inside were a legal deed and a handwritten letter. Mia read Mr. Harris's elegant script, her fingers trembling. "My dearest Mia, the truth is, you saved me long before the hospital. You gave an old, lost man a reason to get up every morning. I saw Christ's own compassion in your small, generous actions. I know you pray for miracles, child. Sometimes God doesn't send a bolt of lightning. He sends a warm cup of coffee, and then he sends a little help through the people you touched. Please accept the only thing I have left to give. With profound gratitude, Arthur Harris." The legal papers named Mia as the sole inheritor of his entire estate, his mortgage-free home, and a substantial trust fund. The amount was enough to wipe out her mother's debt and secure Mia's future. The will specified, "Mia Peterson is the sole inheritor of all my assets, as she is the only person who treated me as family." That evening, Mia stood before the house. The air inside smelled of old books and memory. On the writing desk, a framed photo caught her eye, a candid, blurry snapshot of Mr. Harris and Mia laughing after a coffee spill. He had kept that small, imperfect moment of shared joy until his last breath. Mia sank onto the sofa, the weight of grief and astonishing grace finally crushing her. She wept, not from despair, but from overwhelming gratitude. She understood now. God's answer was not a sudden financial windfall, but a slow unfolding revelation through human connection. Her kindness, offered freely, was the answered prayer. She whispered her thanks to the silent sky. "Thank you, Arthur. Thank you, Lord. You work in the quiet places." She vowed to honor this gift by continuing to live a life defined by compassion. Mia's life was irrevocably changed, yet her spirit remained. She stabilized her mother's health and enrolled in nursing school. She was no longer praying for a miracle, but living as a miracle. The final, timeless truth hung in the soft, clear water air. Kindness doesn't always come back the way we expect, but it always comes back. The story of Mia and Mr. Harris became a quiet legend, a reminder that love and human kindness, however simple the offering, are the most enduring and beautiful legacies of all.